What's up guys, it's Mega giving you another deck for Link Evolution. Today guys, we are doing a Mathmech deck. This deck is of course my own opinion at the end of the day, and it's completely cool if you guys disagree with any of the cards shown in the video. We don't have the new support that got released a couple of months ago. I think it was the new Mathmech, so we are missing one or two cards, but nevertheless it is such a fun deck to play. Going into a big boss man that can just OTK in the form of our Synchro monster, and even if you can't go into that, you still do have a lot of link plays in order to disrupt your opponent and go off from there. This is actually a very fun deck. I enjoyed playing it, and shout out to my friend for recommending me to have a shot at this deck. If you're struggling to make this deck or any deck shown so far, guys, check out the card hub. Now, if they tell you when a card's in this game or not, it will tell you where to find it, like any campaign jewel, any challenge mode jewel, and any card pack. That is in the description down below. And with that, guys, let's get into the video. So as of guys, we have got a 41 card deck. If you want to make it 40, just take out one of the cards. You can take out a Ghost Ogre if you want, but I just couldn't think of which card to take out, so I just left it at 41. Ash Blossom and Joy Springs is starting us off, guys. Fantastic hand trap. You can discard it. Should your opponent activate a card there, special summons from the deck, send a card from the deck to the grave, or add a card from the deck to the hand. So basically anything that involves the deck, Ash Blossom just shuts it down. It's limited to 2. We have 3 copies of Balancer Lord. He is an absolute fantastic Cyverse because you can pay 1,000 life points and normal summon an additional Cyverse monster, and all your Cyverse monsters are pretty much wanting to be on the field through like normal summons with the tuners, and it just explodes and you can go off to amazing plays because of this bad boy. He also has an effect where if he's banished, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand, but I've never got around to it, but you can banish him off Link Disciple. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. Unlike Ash Blossom, if you play this card, she doesn't negate. Please bear that in mind. But should your opponent activate a monster effect or a spell or trap that's already on the field, you can discard her and destroy the card. It doesn't negate, just destroy. So if they activated an effect, chances are it's going to go off. 2 copies of Lady Debug. When she's normal special summoned, you get to add a Cyverse monster from your deck to your hand, being that Micro Coder, which then you can extend to go into bigger link pushes with the transcode and the code talker extended. That's the main reason why you use it, and it just searches out some cards of our deck, and that's the main way where I use Lady Debug, and you can go off with with the link summons with it. Onto some Mathmech, not Mathmech. Mathmech, guys. We have got 3 copies of Addition. Addition is a fantastic one because you can target one face-up monster in the field, doesn't matter which side, and give it 1,000 more attack points and special summon this card from your hand. Chances are you're not going to play it during your opponent's monster because you don't really want to give them attack points, but if you need to get that extra summon off, by all means, go for it. The only downside is, should you special summon this guy through his effect, he can't attack, but you're most probably going to use him for Synchro Xyz or linking him away, so who cares. That 1 copy of Mathmech Division. So with this bad boy, a lot of them have an effect where you contribute a Cyverse monster you control in the extra monster card zone to special summon a level 4 Cyverse monster from your hand and graveyard. Now, you don't really use that effect all that often, but if you want to, it's really easy. Just go into one of your link monsters, play your division, boom, sun out 2 monsters. It's as simple as that. And if this bad boy is sent to the graveyard, doesn't matter if you're foolish, if you discard it, if you just go to the grave, you could target 1 monster in the extra monster card zone. Oh no, wait, you could target 1 monster on the field, sorry, any monster on the field, and half its attack points, which can come in handy, especially with our Synchro monster. Just halving those attack is key. And then you got Mathmech Multiplication, one of the best ones with a Pacific Tuner monster. So this bad boy can target 1 level 4 Cyverse monster on the field and make it a level 8. Which actually makes it super easy to go into your Synchro monster. And then this monster has a graveyard effect where you can target 1 Cyverse monster in your extra monster card zone and basically double its attack points. Main target is obviously the Synchro Final Sigma and give it 6,000 attack points, and it's just absolute key. Using 2 copies of Mathmech Nabble. Nabble is another fantastic one, guys, where you contribute a Cyverse monster, special summon a Mathmech from your deck, And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a Cyverse in your extra monster card zone. It can attack twice on monsters. So a little key combo, guys. If you literally have Nadal and Balancer Lord, you can summon out Balancer Lord, pay that 1000 life points, summon out Nadal. Nadal contribute Balancer Lord, go into multiplication. Multiplication doubles his level. Boom, final Sigma, guys, who has 6000 attack points and can attack twice on monsters. Easy OTK, boys, just off those two lovely cards. Mwah. Then we have got 3 copies of Mathmech Sigma. Sigma is another tuner, but unlike Nadal, he can special summon himself from your hand or graveyard if you control no monsters in the extra monster card zone. So if you, on your opening hand, you have Cybernet Mining and this, you can discard this, search whichever one you want, and then just resurrect him. The only downside is, should you place effect to summon him, he is banished upon leaving the field. So please bear that in mind. And then we are running 3 copies of Mathmech Subtraction. So Attraction gives an opponent or gives a monster 1000 attack to be special summoned. Subtraction is the opposite. You target one face-up monster in the field, make it lose 1000 attack points, and then special summon Subtraction. Again, realistically, you want to target your opponent's monsters with this, not your own. But if you have to, you can just target one of your monsters, make it lose 1000 attack. Then just go into a synchro, then it doesn't really matter about your monster's attack points. And then we've got the 3 copies of Microcoder. If you're going to summon a Cyverse Link monster with the words Code Talker in it, you can use Microcoder from your hand. So if you want to go to Transcode or go into Code Talker Extend, all you need is a monster on the field plus Code Talker in your hand and go into them. And if this bad boy is sent from your hand to the graveyard for a link summon, you can add a Cybernet spell or trap, so Mining or our Omni-Negate, or if it's on the field and you link summoned, you can add a level 4 Cyverse from your deck to your hand, which could equal a special summon if you choose the specific cards. And that's it for the extra deck, that's it for the monsters, guys. Going on to some magics. 3 copies of Called by the Grave. By all means, you do not want to be hand trapped. So if your opponent activates a Ash Blossom, their own Ghost Ogre, a Fet Veiler, you can play this and remove one monster in the graveyard play, basically their hand trap, and negate their effect. Comes in handy when you don't want to be disrupted. And also, should your opponent activate like a Monster Reborn, like an in-deck Monster Reborn, like Trickstar Reincarnation, Mathmech, what's the Mathmech one? Mathmech Equation. You can just banish the card so that way they basically waste their magic card. 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. The reason I'm running this, guys, is because back row can disrupt your plays every now and then. So with this bad boy, you can target one spell or trap on the field and banish it. You have to pay 1000 life points, but being able to banish an opponent's card is key, because a lot of cards, such for instance, like if you're going up against a Gravekeeper deck and they've got Necro Valley, you might think, oh, you can just destroy it. They have monsters to protect Necro Valley from being destroyed. Doesn't say anything about banishing, so that's why Cosmic Cycling can get over a lot of pesky stuff. Like Mystic Mine, when they've got that field barrier, you can just play Cosmic Cyclone and it gets around field barrier, because again, it doesn't target, it just banishes. 3 copies of Cybernet Mining is as you search, you guys, because you can send one card in your hand to the grave, doesn't matter if it's spell, trap or monster, and you get to add a level 4 Cyverse monster from your deck to your hand. So this card can search out your entire deck apart from your hand traps, and then you just go off from there, go and do all your extensive plays. Foolish Burial, I use this to send Mathmech Stigma into the graveyard, but just for like extra plays. But if you want to, you can use it to send like any one of your Mathmechs that have a graveyard effect, because then it will trigger their graveyard. So if you want to, I don't know, play the Division, if you want to cut your monster attack in half, just play Foolish Burial, slice in half, there you go. We've got the in-deck Mathmech Equation, which is like their version of a Monster Reborn. So you can target a Mathmech monster in the grave, special summon it, and if you do, it gains 1000 attack points, which is pretty neat. So main thing is, after you play this, the monster gains 1000 attack is kind of a nice bonus, but for me, I just use it for a combo extender if I want to go into extra stuff. And because it's a Mathmech, is a Mathmech card, it is searchable with one of our Synchro monsters. Some traps, guys. We've got the 1 copy of Cybernet Conflict, which is searchable off a Microcoder when you go into Code Talker Extended, or is it Extended? I think it's called that, or Transcode. When this, should a spell trap or monster effect be activated, while you control a Code Talker monster, negate the activation. If you do, banish the card. Absolute great. And your opponent cannot activate effects with that same name until the end of your next turn, which is absolutely pretty great. And then the 3 copies of Infinite Pertinence is a hand trap in itself, guys, or is an actual hand trap, because you can activate it from your hand if you control no cards. If you do, you can target one monster in the field, negate its effect. It's basically a better version of Effect Veiler, because Infinite Pertinence is a trap, not a monster, so your opponent can't use Call by the Grave to disrupt it. And it also has another effect where if it's set on the field, you can activate it, and you activated it, any spell or trap in the same column as it will be negated until the end of the turn. So, say your monster's opponent's got a continuous spell like Swords of Revealing Light. You played Infinite Impermanence, negate their monster effect in the same column. Swords would lose its effect for 1 turn. Actually, pretty nice. And then finally, we've got the trap card Mathmech Factual, I believe it's called. You can target up to 3 Mathmech, so 1, 2, or 3. Oh no, it's got to be 2 or 3. 3. And then you get to special summon them with their effects negated. Then you can immediately either synchro summon, shuffling monsters into the deck, shuffling the monsters into the deck instead of being sent to the graveyard, or you can special summon them and Xyz summon. So this one card either equals a synchro or an Xyz play. And that's it for the deck, guys. Going on to the extra deck, we are running 2 cards of Geo Mathmech Final Sigma. He is your big boss daddy card that is an absolute beast. So he has 3000 attack. He is unaffected by card effects except Mathmechs while he's in the extra monster card zone. So if he's in the extra monster card zone, he becomes an animal. Because if this card in the extra monster card zone battles opponent's monster, it deals double damage. And with your multiplication, you can give him 6000 attack points, who can deal double damage and is pretty much immune to your opponent's card effects. Yeah, that's kind of cheating. So all your Mathmechs just pretty much buff him to give him extra effects. You also have an effect where if he is destroyed or destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can add any Mathmech card from your deck to your hand, which is pretty key because you can search out the trap and go into another one. You can search out the magic card to resurrect him, or you can do a lot of plays. Then we've got 1 copy of Geo Mathmech Magma. Now, I don't really go into Magma all too well, but he's still a decent card. He's a level 8 Synchro Tuner, so by all means, you could use Magma to go into Final Sigma if you really want. He has a kind of a niche ability where when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can destroy 2 cards your opponent controls. It's a pretty nice effect. And again, if he is destroyed by battle or by opponent's card effect, you can add a Mathmech spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So Sigma can add any Mathmech card. He can only add the spell or traps. Some trap cards, guys. We've got Prime Mathmech, Alan Bertrand. What a name is that? So with this guy, you can so with this guy, he has a couple of abilities. Upon being Xyz summoned, you have to detach 2 to 4 materials to activate his effect. It is mandatory. Upon being summoned, he has to play his ability. So if you use 2 Xyz monsters, you can add any Mathmech card from your deck to your hand, which is pretty neat. If you use 3, if you detach 3 monsters, you can add a level 4 monster from your deck to your hand, and if you used 4 monsters, you can add a spell or trap from your hand. Really, you're just going to use the first effect to add a Mathmech card, because then you can just go off to your extra plays. He also has an effect where you can tribute 1 monster, including himself, to special summon a level 4 Mathmech from your hand. So if you just played his first effect to add a Mathmech, like we'll choose Nabal, you can then tribute himself, special summon Nabal. If you have another monster, use Nabal, tribute a monster, go into multiplication, equals Sigma, equals GG, boys. And then we have Prime Mathmech Laplacian. What are these names? So if a Mathmech card you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can use 1 overlay unit you can detach 1 overlay unit instead, which is pretty cool. And this card is Xyz summoned. You can detach up to 3 materials from it, then choose that many effects. So if you sent So you can send one card from your deck to the grave, or one card from your opponent's hand to the grave. Sorry, send one monster your opponent controls to the grave. Send one spell or trap your opponent controls to the grave. So pretty neat. I've never used this guy once, but he does have a very nice special ability. Going on to some link cards, guys. We've got Code Talker Inverted. Right, I kept on Extended, but that's a different Code Talker. We've got Code Talker Inverted. Inverted is the one I'm on about. So if this card is link summoned, you can special summon a Cyberverse monster from your hand to a zone this points to. All of your monsters, like your Mathmechs, are classed as Cyberverse cards. So you've got a lot of targets to special summon with this. You special summon it. You can special summon it with KOTOR, with Microcoder and Coder from your hand, and just go off from there. Absolute easy card to go into, and because you're going to summon another monster, it just keeps on rolling your combo play. Cyberverse Wicked is a fantastic card, guys, because if you summon a monster next to this card's link, you can add a Cyberverse tuner from your deck to your hand. So this one card can search out Nadal and Sigma. Yes, if you play Sigma, you can't special summon it because obviously Wicked is in the extra monster card zone. But if you tributed it, you can special summon Sigma all you want. I've got the one copy of IP Masquerena because you can, if you have the cards, to go into Wicked, Code Talker and Masquerena turn 1. Then because you've used your Code Talker, you've got an Omni Negate, and you are set up to go into Transcode, Unicorn, or you're able to go into Avamax or from Masquerena. Because during your opponent's main phase, you can link summon during their turn, and any monster that uses Masquerena cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if you do decide to go into Mathmech Avamax, it can't be targeted by card effects, destroyed by card effects, and can't be destroyed by special monsters. So it's pretty much near enough indestructible. We've got that Nightmare Unicorn. If you decide to go into it from Masquerena, you have an interrupt during your opponent's turn. Because if this link summon card, or if this card is link summoned, you can discard one card, return one card on the field to the deck. So that does interrupt your opponent's play. Like say for instance they normal summoned a monster, they normal summoned their own Balancer Lord, and you go into and you use Masquerena's effect to go into Nightmare Unicorn. Discard a card, banish their, send the card back in the deck. They've wasted their normal summon. And then we've got one copy of Lingaribo, because this little guy, you need one level 4 or lower Cyberverse monster, all of our cards and over Cyberverse again, to go into him. When your opponent activates a trap card, you can tribute this card to negate and banish the trap, which is pretty key. It's the only reason you're going to do it, just to disrupt traps should your opponent have any of them set. I'm going on to one copy of Link Devotee and one copy of Link Disciple. So Link Devotee, when it is special summoned, it locks you out of Link 3 or higher monsters. So if you do go into it, you can't go into Transcode or Avimax, but you can set up for them next turn or during the turn. If this card is co-linked, is tributed, you can special summon 2 link tokens to the field. So and with Link Disciple, it's very easy because you contribute one monster this card points to, draw a card, place one card in your hand to the bottom of the deck. So if you tributed Link Devotee off a Disciple, you draw a card, you gain 2 tokens, and you can use those tokens to go to Wicked, and if you have that microcoder in hand, you can use the other token to go into Code Talker Inverted. We've got that one copy of Mech Knight Crusader Avimax. Again, is kind of like another boss monster should Final Sigma fail you. So he can't, like I say, when he's link summoned, he can't be targeted by card effects. If you use him via Masquerena, which 9 times out of 10 you will, he gains the ability of can't be destroyed by card effects, which is pretty sweet. And if he battles a special monster, doesn't matter if they attack or it attacks, he will gain that special monster's attack points, which is actually pretty niche. The only way to get around this is through like a Kaiju, Cyber Dragon, or cards that don't target like Stormy Mirror Force, or if they summoned a normal summoned monster and attacked into Avimax. We've got that one copy of Transcode Talk, absolute beast of a card, because while this card is co-linked, both it and the monster it's co-linked to will gain 500 attack points, and also your opponent cannot target any of them with card effects, which is actually pretty nice. And also, you can target a Link 3 or lower Cyberverse monster in your extra and that's in your graveyard, and special summon it to your zone at this card points to, which is actually pretty nice. So if you use transcode and update jammer, you can resurrect update jammer next to its link. They'll both gain 500 attack. And if you did use update jammer, any monster that use update jammer for link material can attack twice. If you did the transcode update package, transcode will be at 2500, update will be at 2500, transcode can attack twice, and update jammer will just gain a beast of attack points. It also has an effect where once per battle during damage calculation, if your side-verse monster attacked, you can negate all other card effects on the field until the end of the damage step. And then damage calculation for this battle uses each monster's original attack and defense. So it kind of can get around tricky cards your opponent has should they try and buff their monsters. But you're just going to be basically there for the extra attack for transcode. And that's it for the deck, guys. It's actually a very fun deck. I've got some replays for you to see. It has a lot of OTK potential because obviously with Sigma can just go into any beastie, any monster and just really enough deal massive damage. I do hope you enjoyed this deck, guys. It's actually pretty fun to play. I actually didn't play him, so I played him until today, and it's actually a very, very fun deck to play. Really do like these. If you enjoyed this deck, hit that thumbs up, or maybe consider subscribing, because either one helps out the channel grow. I'll be back with another deck, guys, pretty soon. So wherever you are in the world, stay safe and stay healthy. Take care and goodbye.
No time in advance, you see. This mortal core service taught like a spring. Step back, two step, 1, 2, 3. No more than a test, ever feeding off the fallacy, creating this master down. This honest machine with all of the rest, break free to phase electricity. Time turning up the volume, time turning on us always. No time enough tomorrow, forward turning back to where we began. Trying to save us, testing. No escaping from this waking dream, no hope for advance. You see, the mortal core we serve is not but a spring. Unwind, too slow, too quick, too much to believe. You failed the test, ever forging all new fallacies, creating a master back. This brick machine with all of the rest, DC, dying, electricity.